Okay, welcome to the second installment in our Reality Mastery Notes overview. I mentioned in the last segment that these are notes I've had for half a decade now, been studying, and I'm going to articulate these points over to you. That way, hopefully you can implement them in your own experience and see amazing results. So, without further ado, one slight review. What is our purpose? Why do we want master over reality? Well, simply for the effortless achievement of our goals. Imagine that's written right there. The effortless achievement of your goals. That's what we're here to obtain. What's the first step of effortless achievement? The definition of your dream. How do you define your dream? Okay? And why is this important? This is important because everything you want that's an E and an A fused together. Everything you want already exists. Okay? I think I'm going to have to use some better penmanship here. Hopefully everyone can read this. Everything you want already exists. Okay? We're operating in an infinite field of quantum possibilities. And it's your responsibility to zero in on the experience you desire. So everything that you aim for, that you think about, dream for in your mind, it's there, it's happening. But so are all the things you don't really care for, and so are all these other things you have no idea about. So the question becomes, how do you get in line with your goals, with your aim? All right? Now, before we get into those principles, just again, to touch on this, if you can want it, think it, feel it, desire it, it has potential of becoming real. All right? Think, feel, desire, want something. It exists in the quantum plane. But it's up to you to pull it out of geometrical existence and see it manifest physically. All right? So again, everything you want already exists. This is the state, the understanding we are going to operate out of, always. Remember, this is the question we ended the last video with. Perhaps I should have written this larger. But either way, who are you becoming? Ask this question. The reason I left this on the board at the end of the last video is because it's what I want you to start mulling through. It's what I want you to start probing the subconscious existence with. Why? Because the internal causes the external to manifest. All right? You got internal, external. It's going here, right? So many people, far too often, all the time, almost everyone, every day, right? They're thinking, they look around and they see their surroundings, they think about their circumstances, what's going on, and they get obsessed with the external, and they let the external determine how they feel internally. And most people, most lay people, your everyday person who, not to ruffle any feathers, but probably doesn't do anything impressive on the regular. This is their experience. They see the external, and then it causes them to feel things internally, the same exact life they're living. And therefore, that internal feeling causes the same exact external things to continue to happen. Okay? This is how people get stuck in loops and certain lifestyles, and why they feel like things don't change for them. Because their internal isn't changing, because they're allowing what they see outside of themselves and what they think outside about the things outside of themselves to affect their internal being. And that internal being just gives them back more of what they're experiencing. Okay? But the key here is to stop that pattern, right? Literally like I'm doing this board, we're going to erase that pattern going to understand that our internal, is what vibrates and is manifested externally. Okay? And this is why you don't just want some pie in the sky idea. You want a real deal, button down answer to the question, who am I becoming? Because once you get in tune with that and vibrational match, once you can create an internal state that reflects your desired answer to this question, then vibrationally it will affect the external reality and you will see things. Small pieces will start to come to fruition. All right? That is what we're working with. Remember, internal, external, not the other way around. All right, next segment or piece of this puzzle, the 3 paradigms of reality creation. Now, what are they? It's going to be having or taking, right? And you have doing and being. Now, why have I ordered them this way? Because having and taking is the lowest paradigm, right? Doing is the middle level, and being is the highest. Okay? You can even create pyramid that these things are a part of. These are the levels. Now, don't get confused by this pyramid, okay? Because having, doing, being, having is our foundation. If you want to understand how to take control over the creative experience that is your life, you have to take this pyramid and flip it, turn it into a funnel, if you will. Yes. Now, be, do, have. This right here, this is the way. Understand? Because here at the bottom, when you are being, when you are taking on the vibrational responsibility and acting as though you are in the world, you take on the vibrational resonance of the identity you desire. Then, while remaining in that vibrational state, you do the things the person you aim to be would do, regardless of what things around you might seem like or what others say. All of those things are irrelevant. Remember, in our last whiteboard piece, the external means nothing. It's all about the internal space, the internal feelings, okay? So we're being, and while we hold that internal state, we're going to do the things, regardless of what we see externally. And once we do those things, and we be, feel, have that in our heart constantly, then, and only then, can we have that life. Understand? You see, I shaped it pyramidically so you can understand the levels, which is highest to lowest, lowest to high. But to actually have, you have to be this funnel. You've got to be the base of this funnel. You have to, again, be, do, have. All right? So always, 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 always focus on being. Then, whilst you're being, do. Understand? And through those mediums, you can have whatever, anything that comes to mind. Truly, the possibilities are limitless. Okay, we're doing a lot of talking on being so we can do, so we can have, right? So what's the question? What is being? Being. Perhaps our most important thing we can do here and now at this point, right? Being is the connection, all right? A connection to our ideal reality on a vibrational level. Connection to ideal. And that's why I've written this out, okay? That way it's not just some mystical, arbitrary idea, okay? What does it mean to be? This is it, my friends. How do you be? You have a connection to your ideal reality on a vibrational level. And if that is something you do not quite wrap your head around upon hearing these words, put yourself in the state. Let's say you want a homestead. You want 25, you want 50 acres. 50 acres, nice house, you, your kids, you got chickens, ducks, quack, 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 all that good stuff. All right? You put yourself in your backyard, looking out at the pasture. You see the chicken coop, the ducks waddling, the horses running if you're into that. Paint the picture, but don't just see it. Put yourself in the setting and feel that. All right? And that might be a little bit out of reach if you've never done it before, but I promise you have. Most people do this all the time, except they're constantly thinking about situations that suck. Okay? And that is why their life doesn't get better, because they're always in the state of being in places that are terrible in their mind. They're going, oh, that would be terrible. Why are you constantly revolving around that? They're connecting to it on a vibrational level. And that's why these terrible things happen. Now, sucker people who are like, no, I've got a logical reason. Science told me it's because I freaking suck, man. Some bullshit like that. This lip service. People who talk. It's because people who have shitty lives do not want to accept the fact that they are responsible for the things that happen to them. Okay? That's something no one can escape. But back to it. This is the power that athletes are always using. They are connecting to their ideal reality on a vibrational level. When guys are on the court warming up, boom. They're not just hitting shots and sweats. They're thinking about where they are on the floor, how they're going to hit the bucket when the moment arises. Okay? So, to answer the question, how do I be? Make a vibrational connection to your idea reality. Okay? Vibrational connection to the idea reality. That's what you have to have. Boom. Note this down. This right here, again, these videos will probably be 10 to 20 minutes on average, and there's going to be plenty of them. But if you write this down on a piece of paper or a little flashcard, and you remind yourself of it constantly, and you put yourself in that space, you don't need any more information. Remember, it's principles, not techniques. And this is the principle we are driving home into the subconscious. B. Make a vibrational connection to your idea reality. And you're winning. All right? Love it. So, that, I believe, is a fantastic place to wrap up the second video. Again, my friends, if you do anything in this life, make a connection on a vibrational level to your ideal reality. I'll tell you right now, maybe click on my channel. Do I even have 100 subscribers? Who cares? I am vibrationally connected to the reality where these videos reach heights I cannot even imagine. Or perhaps I do, right? Because it's the only way we get there. 100,000 subscribers, million subscribers, 10 million subscribers. It's not about the subscriber count. It's about reaching people with information that they can then change their lives with. That's what we're here to do. That's what I am doing here in this moment. That's what I'm vibrationally connected to. And that's how we're going to transcend the situations we find ourselves in. You are greater than your circumstances. I'll leave you with that. Catch you in the next one. Peace.